Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Laura, for any of you who don't know. Today we are doing a little get to know me for all of you new people who have recently joined the channel. First of all, I just want to start by saying thank you so much to every single one of you who has joined. I'm so grateful to every single one of you. I know a lot of you have found me through my Australia stuff. You guys should comment down below how you've found the channel and everything, just because I'd be curious to know. And I haven't done a little sit down video like this yet, so I figured that it would probably be a good time to actually do that. I figured I'd answer some of your questions. Also, I have my windows open because it has been so hot here recently. I think it was a high of 87 today, which I don't remember what that is Celsius. Definitely like 34 or something Celsius if I had to guess. Yeah, so it's definitely been warming up here. If you hear the noises of Pennsylvania outside, then that's why. Anyways, so first question, where am I from? So I was born in Southern California. I was born in the Rialto area. I don't know if anyone knows where that is. Then we moved to New York when I was 2 years old. We drove cross country for like 10 days or something. My mom is from California and my dad's from New York, so that's how that kind of worked out. We just moved back to where my dad grew up. Yeah, so grew up in upstate New York, and I lived in upstate New York until I left for Australia, and my parents moved while I was gone, and they moved to upstate Pennsylvania. I think you could call it upstate. Does Pennsylvania even have a downstate? I don't think so. We're in upper PA, so I still work in New York right now. My whole life is still essentially in New York, but we just technically live in Pennsylvania now. All right, second question, where did I go to school? I graduated high school in 2020, so in the midst of COVID and the midst of the pandemic. So I went to school for the first 2 years in Buffalo, called Canisius College. I think it's Canisius University now. They've kind of upgraded. First year was COVID. The second year I was an RA, and do not recommend doing that. It was not not worth the mental strength. I don't even know what the word is, because I was an RA. I was working another job at an ice cream and smoothie shop, and then I was also maxed out with my credits at 18 credits that semester. It was just a very stressful year for sure. I just decided I didn't like the school very much. I tried my best to make it work, and I don't know, looking back, if that was COVID. I don't know if that was just not being able to fit in and find my people there. So I decided to transfer, and I wanted to go to a bigger school, which is why I ended up going to University of Albany, which is a bigger state school. And for those of you who are not probably familiar with how New York does things, or any other state schools for that matter, they have private schools that you can go to. So my first school was private, my second school was state. So that means that your private school has private funding. They don't take any handouts from the government or anything. But the state schools are government funded, so they're usually cheaper, and usually they say that they're lesser quality than the private schools, but I honestly think it's just what you get out of it. You get out of it what you put into it. So then I went to Albany for 2 semesters, so like 1 full school year, and then my last semester is when I went to Australia. So in the past 3.5 years, I've been in 3 cities, and now 4, I guess, if you're counting our new move to Pennsylvania. Lots of moving for sure in the past few years. So next question is, why am I filming and what made me want to do YouTube? It's funny because I feel like everyone definitely has a phase where you go through, oh, I think I want to be a YouTuber. I think I want to do social media. I always knew that part of me wanted to do it, and I guess it was one of those things where you don't know if it was just a phase or if it's going to be more of a long-term passion, I guess, of mine. You never really know until you try it. I started it back in 2020. That's when I officially started it, but I had been doing these little vlogs before then, just of personal vlogs for myself, just to document my life, I guess. I have a bunch of those in my phone, a bunch of those in my old camera roll. It's almost kind of like a diary is how I see it, of like these video diaries that I do, and I have done for years, and it's just been cool to look back at those already, because it's already been, I think it's coming up on 5 years since I filmed probably my first few vlogs. I didn't start posting public vlogs till I started doing these things with my friends. We just kind of documented our little adventures and things like that. I just kind of kept sporadically filming throughout college, but I wasn't doing it regularly. The first time I genuinely took YouTube seriously and genuinely started investing a lot of time and energy and staying consistent with it was when I left for Australia. That was when I started really putting into it and started really trying to learn how to edit and how to capture my shots better, how to tell my story better, and I'm still definitely learning. I'm already, from going back and watching my first vlogs, I'm like, ooh, like, they're kind of cringe. What can you do? It's part of the process, it's part of learning, and they also just tell you to like just make the videos. You're gonna cringe either way, but you're not gonna learn any other way. So it started off with me just wanting to document my life and have that to look back on and things like that, and then I went to Australia, and in the midst of that process, I had a tough time finding people on YouTube who had gone abroad or had shared these little details of things about Australia or about their study abroad program. And I was like, well, when I go abroad, I would like to do as much as I can to film these types of things and talk about them so that somebody else who's going abroad will be able to look at them and relate, or look at them and have some kind of reference point. Doesn't mean that your experience is going to be the same, but it just means that it could be similar or different. I guess you never really know. So that you guys could ask questions and have a little community about traveling and going abroad to Australia specifically. So that's kind of like my secondary reason. What are my hopes and dreams for the channel? If I'm being perfectly honest, I would like the channel to turn into a travel channel, because a big dream of mine has always been to travel the world, travel our country, and just get out and see and experience all these different things, all of the things that the world has to offer. I haven't never been the person who knew what they wanted to do when they grew up. Whenever somebody asked me that, it always gave me so much anxiety because I genuinely never had a good answer. But the one thing that has stuck for years is that I've always wanted to travel the world. I've always wanted to get out and see the world and experience so many different things and different cultures and different people, and that's one thing that's stuck. I would say that my dream job would be basically getting paid to travel. Ideally, turning this channel into a travel channel and being able to monetize that somehow and be able to go pursue that dream of traveling would be really, really cool. But I also know that it seems so like unattainable for it to be a full-time thing for me right now. Since I just hit 1,000 subscribers, thanks to you guys, I have recently been able to monetize my channel. So now I'm starting to make some money from YouTube, and all of that money that I'm making is going towards my travel and going towards essentially back into the channel, because it'll be going towards content. So that's ideally the goal for the channel. I'm honestly not in any rush to have this be a big time thing. Like, it honestly kind of freaks me out, if I'm being honest, having eyes on me, like as much as YouTube kind of requires you to. Because once you're putting stuff out into the world, you're putting stuff out into the internet, you're giving people the opportunity to judge you and to look at your life and to say whatever they want about you. And that's a really scary thought, because I tend to be a people pleaser, and especially in my past, I've known to be a people pleaser. I've definitely come a long way, and I've worked on it a lot to not be like that anymore. If I'm being perfectly honest, the thought of something going viral and having all these eyes on me overnight is pretty freaky to think about. For anyone who also doesn't know, I'm Christian, and I've been praying a lot about it and trying to keep it in God's hands, because I definitely don't want it unless if he wants it for me. So if he wants it for me, then I trust that it'll work out in the way it's supposed to. And if he doesn't want it for me, then I trust that it'll also work out either way. And I've also been blessed to get a really good job here back home, so I'm not stressed about having YouTube for money. I'm not really doing it for money. It's just one of those things that would be really cool if it did eventually become that someday. That's why subscribing is so helpful for YouTubers. That's why, you interacting with the video, commenting, liking, all of that stuff really helps, because that boosts your AdSense, that boosts your algorithm, and it helps you get seen more, and it helps just overall support the channel. And I think, let me check the percentage. There's a substantial portion of my viewers who are not subscribed, and I think that you should. So there are, out of all of the viewers who have watched my channel in the last 28 days, 92.4% of you are not subscribed, and 7.5% are. So it's one of those things, it's like, if you all did subscribe, that would be absolutely insane. But obviously I don't hand out subscriptions easy either. When I'm on YouTube, I kind of am very selective with who I subscribe to, so I totally get it. But it would be really nice, because it helps me out. It helps me be able to live out my dream of being able to go travel the world. And it's also cool because you guys get to experience it with me. Oh, anyways, so what are my hobbies? I really enjoy music. That is probably my top thing. I also would really like to get into music more than I am right now, but I genuinely just do not have the time, because working a 9-to-5 and doing YouTube and, having a social life, just you cannot have that much time for hobbies. My top hobby, I would say, is music. I really enjoy doing music, but that also goes hand in hand with YouTube and vlogging and documenting things, because right now it is kind of a hobby more for me, but I'm trying to treat it more like a second job. That makes sense. Documenting my life. I'm a very deep thinker. I like to think all the time. I'm probably more deep than people probably like sometimes I feel like I have to tone it back sometimes when I'm hanging out with people, because most people I found are like to be pretty surface level, but I'm definitely the type of person where if I'm sitting and talking with you one-on-one, I would have no problem talking about, the deepest things and the most personal things about you. That's just how I am. When I don't process things with other people, I like processing by myself and documenting my thoughts in a vlog, because I also like watching myself grow up through that and watching myself change throughout the years and hearing my voice change, being able to see me physically change. It's just been cool being able to look back at a lot of my older stuff already and see how much I've grown and how much I've changed since then. I actually filmed a time capsule back in high school. This is like my early stages, probably one of my first YouTube videos ever that I filmed, but I never posted it. I just kept it private. It's little high school me, because I saw somebody do this video, I guess when I was in high school, and it was this YouTuber who filmed a video, a time capsule of them 5 years ago, and then they reacted to it 5 years later and opened it 5 years later. And so I thought that was a cool idea. And so I did the same thing, even though I wasn't sure if I was actually going to start a YouTube channel or not, because I was really, really shy and never really had much confidence in myself. And if you told younger me that I had a YouTube channel and I was talking to 1,000 subscribers about myself, I would have been like, what? Because I was really shy, really soft-spoken as a kid. But yeah, so there's that video that will be interesting to open up. I don't know why I brought that up. I think it's just seeing myself change throughout the years. But yeah, that I don't get to open that till September 3rd of this year. So stay tuned for that, because I'm excited to open that and react to it, and we'll see how it goes, I guess. Aside from that, also really enjoy baking and cooking. I'd say baking more than cooking. Throughout my middle school years, I spent so much time baking. My mom literally had a separate budget for my baking stuff because I spent so much time baking, and I was really into Cake Boss and all that stuff. But now it's kind of dialed back. I just do it more as an actual hobby, and it's fun to just bake something every now and then. I really enjoy exploring. For anyone who hasn't watched my channel at all, as you could probably tell, I just came back from Australia, as most of you know. Yeah, I really like exploring, going new places. Even before I left for Australia, I just enjoyed exploring my local area. I feel like I've explored all of New York State. We've already traveled quite a bit. I've been to London and Italy as well, but I just like getting out and exploring things. I like appreciating nature and appreciating the world that God's created. Also just staying active. I like going for runs, playing little sports here and there, going to the track and doing a workout with my friends, swimming in my lake. I just went swimming for the first time in my lake. I actually took a video, so I might put that in. That was really fun. The main one is just spending time with family and friends. I think that's just the priority. I really enjoy investing in good people and my good friendships in my life and my family. Somebody asked what my favorite color is. My favorite color is light yellow. It's the color of my water bottle, the Frank Green water bottle that Seb got for me. Let me go grab it. I'd say this color, yellow, is probably my favorite color. It's just such a happy color, and I don't know, it just makes me feel happy and bright when I look at it. What genres of music do I like? Not to be generic and cliche, but I like almost everything, pretty much everything. Except for rap. I don't like rap very much. There are some rap artists that I think are okay and that I like, but I'm just not the biggest fan of it, just because I am more of a songwriter. I like music, and I just don't always get the hype with rap, but I think that's just me personally. My favorite band is Need to Breathe. I don't know if anyone knows them, but I'll put them on the screen somewhere. They are my favorite band. I've seen them in concert twice, and I would like to see them again soon. They're kind of a mix of different vibes. They are kind of an indie slash folk slash rock band. Yeah, I really like them. They're like an older group, but I really like them. I found them on their Out of Body album. It's my favorite album actually by them, but all of their music is really good. I haven't been disappointed by them yet. I just like the values and the meanings behind their songs, and also their musicality is really good. Like, they're really good musicians, and also the lyrics are really good. So a lot of people know them as a worship band. They're like a Christian band because some of their songs are played on Christian radio and in churches and things like that, but they don't actually identify as a worship band or a Christian band. They're basically like a regular band, but with Christian values, and you can kind of tell that it's incorporated in their music, which I really like, just having wholesome Christian values in their music. I'm a very big believer on whatever media you're consuming is going to impact the way you think and the way you live your life. So I think when you're listening to bad music and not the best music, not the best shows and things like that. Like that really impacts your brain and the way you think. So I just try to keep my genres as clean as I can, even though every now and then like I really enjoy a good pop beat and stuff like that. So because the musician in me likes listening to the different types of music for like songwriting purposes. I love hearing what different people do and what is kind of popular right now. But as far as if I was to like actually sit and think to music, I feel like, well, I don't know, it really depends. I'd say Need to Breathe is my favorite. I also like Adele, also like Lauren Daigle, also like, this is gonna be super controversial, probably as a Christian. I guess some of you probably won't care, but I like Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas. I think they're both incredibly talented as musicians. I don't agree with them on a lot of personal values, but I think as musicians they're very talented. Just producing and songwriting, all that stuff. They do a very good job capturing certain emotions and things, and I respect that. So somebody asked me if I did cheer as a kid, which I kind of found funny. No, I did not do cheer. I probably would have stuck out like a sore thumb if I did do cheer. I did dance. I was a dancer for 5 years. I did that through like elementary school. Then I did ice skating as well through elementary school. So I'm a pretty decent ice skater. I also did horseback riding, which is pretty random, but my sister's a big horse nerd. She's grown up like literally obsessed with horses. So we did horseback riding for a couple years, and then I'd say the main thing, I always enjoyed running. Running was my most favorite thing to do. I think a lot of it was because my mom did track, and so I wanted to be like her. I wanted to be a good runner, even though that's not all what I didn't even end up being a runner at all. I was a jumper. From 7th grade to, well, actually, I technically started in 6th grade. From 6th grade to my last year of high school, I did track. I was a jumper, so I did high jump, triple jump, long jump were like my main events. But triple jump was my overall main thing, and that was the thing I was best at. That was the thing I was known for. I went to states twice for it, and I was also a track captain and got offered a lot of scholarships, but I turned all of them down because I had a lot of issues with my knees and my shins and my joints and things like that, and I just didn't want to destroy my body anymore in college because D1 track and D1 sports generally tend to be pretty rough on your body, and so I just didn't want to put myself through that, and I also didn't want to have the pressure of having to stick to a sport financially. So if I did decide I wanted to quit and then they'd pull my scholarship or something, like I just didn't want to deal with that. So turned all of that down, but that was my main identity in high school. That's how everyone knew me. I was a track kid. And then the other main thing people knew me for was orchestra. I was also pretty involved with orchestra. Then somebody asked me if I ever broke a bone. Surprisingly, no, I never broke a bone. I was really clumsy as a kid, and now we think we know why, because we found out my left leg is 3/4 of an inch shorter, and I have scoliosis. So my left leg is 3/4 of an inch shorter than my right, so I actually have to wear lift in my shoes, otherwise my back will hurt if I don't wear it for a long period of time. I see a chiropractor weekly. My sandals are like made to be, this side's like thicker than the other one. Everyone always asks me if I have platform Berks, and I was like, no, I just have scoliosis. Yeah, so surprisingly, no, I never broke a bone. I have definitely hurt myself and bruised myself a decent amount just from being clumsy though. Then somebody asked, these are kind of the more Australia targeted questions, where do I want to travel next? I don't know if like it's overall like a country or a place, but my next country or place I'd like to go, this is going to be really lame, but I would generally, if you're asking me, I would like to go back to Australia and New Zealand and travel those areas more, because I feel like I didn't get to travel that much when I was living there. I mean, I did, but I'd like to go and actually either have somebody that goes with me that can drive, and like we just go for a road trip across Australia and also just get to spend more time there. So I think if I were to go back, I would like to, like ideally what would be really nice is if I was making enough money through YouTube to go back to Australia and live there for a year or two and travel, kind of just get to experience life more like that. And then I'd also like to go to New Zealand and travel New Zealand as well, because I've heard that New Zealand is beautiful and I have friends in both those places obviously, so that would be cool to go back and explore that. But obviously there's a million other places I'd like to go. I'd love to go back to Europe, love to go to Iceland and Greenland, which is like a place I've wanted to go for a while because I've heard they're also beautiful. Like to go to Spain. So as far as next place that I'm going to go, You guys will have to stay tuned for that because I actually am going on a trip this upcoming weekend, which I don't know when that will be when you guys see this. I might be actually traveling when you guys see this. You'll just have to stay tuned because I'm going on another trip, and this time we're getting on a plane. Somebody asked me when I was going to drive a car with a steering wheel on the other side of the car, and I actually did. When I was in Australia, my roommate let me drive her car around campus. That was very odd because I was on the other side of the car. The pedals were all the same, so that wasn't really different. And I'd been living there for a couple months, so I was kind of used to the turns being different. Here you have a right turn on red, and there it's a left turn on red. And so it's like things like that where like your merges are all different and everything's backwards. But I'd been living there for long enough for it to be not as weird as when I first got there. So that wasn't the weird part. The weird part was the thing that I kept messing up, the turn signals and like the blinkers, the wipers and everything like that. I kept hitting, because on this side is the indicator to turn, like your turn signal, but in her car that was the windshield wipers. So I kept going to indicate to turn and it kept hitting her windshield wipers. It actually wasn't as bad as I thought. Last one for the video is, do I intend to come back to Australia to live or to work? I definitely would if the opportunity came about, but I am not actively searching for that right now. It's not my active goal at the moment to be working towards moving back to Australia. I figured that by the end of this year, I'll just assess where I'm at financially, figure out what my life goals are going to be and where I want to move to, where I want to live. And if that means staying here and spending more time with my family and friends back home, then I'll stay. And if I have the opportunity to go back to Australia because I'm doing well financially, then absolutely I'd go back. I could see myself going back for a year or two, but I don't think I would fully settle down in Australia. I think that I would have a really tough time being away from my family and not being able to see them. Or like if I did settle down somewhere, like I want my parents to know like my kids and things like that. I think I would come home to settle down, but I don't see any issue with moving there for a couple years while I'm young, just because why not? I'm still figuring it out. I'm still thinking about it. It's not off the table. I'm definitely going to go back to visit, and I'm hoping I can go back to visit next year if I don't end up going to move. It's all kind of up in the air at this point. I don't have a set answer on what I'm planning on doing, but I've just have kind of told myself that I'm going to give myself the rest of the year. We're going to see where I'm at the end of the year, and if I want to move or if I want to stay, we'll figure that out. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So that is my last question. I hope that this gave some insight to my life a little bit. I hope you guys are having a great rest of your week. I know I've been having a good week. I hope you guys are doing well. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions for me, if you want me to do a part 2, let me know. Just comment below. I do read through most of the comments. Thank you guys for joining. It was nice to spend this time with you, and I appreciate you. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Hope you have a great day or night, wherever you are. Peace out.